Hello. Several of you have asked me to show you how to do the hidden snap button. So it's going to look like a button on the outside, and it is actually going to be snaps. This I would think is compliant because I'm using, as long as you're using like compliant buttons, I'm using a real button, and I am going to be installing it through the center of a snap. So I'm going to show you every single step just because that's a good tutorial, I think. But if you already know how to do snaps, skip to whatever time I put in the description. So to get started, you need a button, you need your placket. For me, I'm going to pretend this is placket A and this is placket B. And you need some interfacing. For me, I'm using cotton twill tape. It's my favorite for interfacing. Normally when I have a placket, I will use, I will just thread a long piece all the way through my placket, and then I will secure my snaps, and then I'll cut off the ends, and then I'll put on my binding or finish the edge, whatever I'm doing, and I will just have the cotton twill tape all the way through this project. I've never had an issue with it. If you for some reason think you're gonna have an issue with it, you might, and if that's the case, just don't do that. You can always use other interfacing. For me, it always tears. I don't like the way it feels when I snap and unsnap. I don't feel like it's secure, so this is the way I go. So then you need, did I say buttons? You need buttons. You need some kind of snaps. Well, not some kind. You need open ring snaps. For me personally, I use cam snaps. I'm using size 14. If you wanted to use a larger size, like size 16, you totally could. Not that I didn't just do this on my last video. Make sure you have the right die for your snaps. So open ring snaps. The side that shows on most projects is the ring. This is the female side. It is completely, well, I don't even know how to show you this because I have big bulky fingers apparently. This is the female side. This is the male side. It has like a little nub that sticks up. And then this will be the reverse side of the male side. Other things you might need, I don't know, but my best friend, seam ripper. You will probably need some scissors or snippies, and anything else you can find. I seem to put my snaps in wrong sometimes, so I use this. It's called a purple thing. If you don't have one, you need one. You can just like fish that right out. It comes out super easy. Anyway, and then a needle and thread. For me, I like to use Gutermann Mara 70 thread. I think it's buttonhole and button thread. It just gives a nice sturdy button without being too bulky on the thread department, because that is really important for this project. So to get started, you are going to install your snaps. Just pretend with me, help me out. If you are like in the market for snaps and you don't know what you want, I highly, did I say highly enough? Recommend, if you have it in your budget, the table press. I started with the mini press. I still have it. For me, it's just like too unstable. I don't like it. I know you're supposed to mount it. I don't have time for that. You're also supposed to mount the table press. Also don't have time for that, but I don't have problems with it. So that's totally fine. So getting started, install your snaps. For me, this doesn't matter because I'm not making a real project, but for you, you need the male snap. Whoop. The male snap has to be, and I repeat, has to be on the inside part of your placket. So if we're pretending I'm wearing my shirt and it has a placket on it, the male snap will go here, and then this female snap will snap on top. Very important. If you do this backwards, this trick will not work. So I'm using knit fabric. Oftentimes when I make this or do this, I'm actually using woven. It doesn't matter. It works for either. Any way you can get a secure snap installed. So and I put my little, nope, gotta install it. I gotta actually put something in there. So you put the male snap in, the stud part goes into the die, and then you are going to want to make sure that the stud, the top of your placket here, is the part that's going to be facing away from the body. So you want the open ring, or this side, to be down. So, install your snap. Make sure you pick up on your twill interfacing or whatever you're using to stabilize your snap. I personally, I think that's a half inch, 3/4. It's not 3/4. I think it's supposed to be a half. It's like in between 3/8 and a half. Is that right? Yeah. Okay. Math, it's hard. So, male snap installed. Again, if this were a true project, this would be like this on my project. If I'm making like a Henley or something like that, bam, it's there. Next step, female side. So, if this were my placket, I would want the open ring or the non-snapping part on the outside. So it would look like this. And this would come on here, okay? So, you're gonna do that. It's very important. If you don't do it that way, your snaps aren't gonna work and this hack isn't gonna work. Next, you're gonna put your open ring, or your female, inside. The way I do this is I look at it and I look for the flower. There's like a little flower, if you will, that goes up, faces up into your die. Now, again, we are going to be snapping like this. So I want the open ring on this side. Now, for my project, this is not a project. It doesn't matter for me. Make sure it matters. If it matters for you, make sure you're doing it right. There's nothing worse than installing one of these wrong and then having to take it out because it sucks. Ask me how I know. So, that's done. I'll move this out of my way. Those things weigh a lot, but they are worth it. So now I can kind of show you because I don't have a real project, but like that's like the perfect size for my snap, and it's secure. My snap is not going anywhere, even if this fabric stretches, like that center part, she good. Now, make sure they snap together, bada boom, bada bang, placket. Oh, that looks so cute. Yeah, it's gonna look cuter with a button. So, unsnap, and whatever, if this dangles, wherever it goes, let it go away for a while. Next, needle and thread. I'm going to tie and secure a good size knot on the end of my needle and thread. Now, this is the way I do it. Hate me if you want, tell me it's not right. Tell me it's gross, maybe it is gross, I don't know. This is how my mom's always told me to do it. It's always worked for me flawlessly, so I'm going to do it that way. Make sure you have nice ends to get started. You don't want like all ravelly junk. So I just cut those off so I have nice crisp cuts. Little saliva. Pinch the threads like this. Wrap it around your top finger, through your finger and your thumb, and roll. Good. Gonna get it some twisties, and then you're just gonna pull it down. That gives you like a solid knot. It's not going anywhere. She looked good. I trim a little bit of this off because I don't want all of that sticking up. It's just not necessary. Don't cut it too short. Some of it is okay, but like that's good. It's a good size knot. I don't have anything to worry about. I know it's not going anywhere. If you want to make sure, you can pull it, whatever. Now, if you're looking for a sanitary way to do that, I'm not your girl. That's someone else. No, I'm just kidding. You could use like some water or like a sponge with water on it or something. If I was selling this, I probably would not use my own spit, but I don't sell clothes yet. One day, maybe, if the universe aligns. Okay, anyway, I'm rambling. So, take your placket. It's probably going to be like something like, it's hanging, blah. And you're gonna go onto the inside where it snaps, and you're gonna shove your needle right through the center. I like to go to the edge because the way my buttons are, you'll see. The way my buttons are, the buttonholes, they're on the edge. If I went right up through the center, it would be fine, but it just kind of makes it hard to like put your button on right. So I get like kind of towards the edge. And you pull your thread. I leave a tail. If you know how to install a button and you don't want to do it a different way or hear what I have to say, you can skip ahead. So install a button. I leave a little tail. You're gonna put your button on. Obviously, the needle goes through the back side of your button. If you want your button looking like this on the front, then it's going to go through this way. If you want your button to look like this on the front, it's going to go through this way. Obviously, I want my button to look like that. So, there we go. Now, find that little loop again. And you're going to so you're going to align your button so that your ring is mostly hidden. You don't really want your button like off center, because then you can see the ring through there. I mean, you could, but mostly your ring should be installed in the center of your project anyway. So you wouldn't really want like this off center, I wouldn't think. So make sure that when you're doing this, you just kind of center your button over the ring snap. Kind of hides the ring, it's not as obvious. And yeah, it works great. So then you're up through there, you're gonna send it back through. I like to go to the diagonally across button hole, however you want to do it. I don't know another way to do it. I guess I could get creative, but I'm not gonna do that. So it doesn't matter where it goes through the back. I like to try and keep my button in one place and hold it, so I'm gonna do that. It makes it a little bit harder when I'm like trying to show you on the screen to hold my button securely, but hold it securely. Then you're going to pick up this loop. So I'm physically going to stick my needle through the loop like so. Keep your strings from getting tangled and pull until it is tight. This does a few things. It keeps your knot from pulling through your fabric. Now I have the twill tape in there, and you should use interfacing, so it shouldn't do that, but it has for me before, even with a big knot, so that helps keep that knot from coming through. Then you're going to go back through your button, and I do 3 times, however many times you do it. I like to stab it through the knot on my secure knot at least once. It helps hold that knot down so that when you use the snap, it's not like as noticeable that there's a bunch of junk in the hole. So I'm trying to do that now, up through. Now do that 3 times. This is my second. There. This time you're gonna go through the other hole. See how I switched that? The first ones were through you can see that horizontal line of threading. Now I'm going through the next one, kind of trying to keep it centered. It's really not an art. Well, it might be. Is it an art? It's really not like super critical. You just, depending on your button, you could potentially see your ring snap, and that defeats the purpose of having it a hidden snap. So 3 times on this side. My button is secure. Good. Now you're going to go back through, and this time you're not going through a hole. You're actually going to go in between the button and like that. If you don't want to secure your button like this, don't do it. That's all I have to say about that, but I once heard that this is how you should do it. And then you are going to wrap your thread around 1, 2, 3 times. For me, that makes my button so secure. It's not like wobbly knobbly in the wind. I know we're not actually using these buttons, so maybe this is like overkill. It always has worked for me. I've never had a button fall off. So yeah, take it if you will. I like to just go through the hole. So next you're just gonna pull it up through the hole, and you're gonna go back down through the bottom one. And after you have completed that, you're going to have to go one more time to create a loop to secure your knot. Okay. So I'm going to catch my, maybe, Lord, have mercy. I don't know why that's in my head. TikTok videos? Anyone TikTok? Okay. So I'm going to pick up, I like to shove my finger through there. Maybe that's bad practice. I'm not going to hurt myself using hand stitching. Or maybe I will. What is that doing? Okay. Make sure it's gliding, because that was not gliding. And then I'm going to stick it through this way. Do not poke yourself. That would, oh God, that would hurt. So, pull, tight. Okay, my thumb's in there. So I know I'm not going to lose my loop. And then I'm going to go through my loop and pick it up. And when you do that, you're going to get another loop. And then you're going to just slip it through there. And then you're going to pull. Literally just pull. Pull slowly so that you like tighten one layer and then the next. My button is secure, and I'm going to cut my needle off. And then maybe this is overkill. Maybe you don't need to do it. I tie this twice, like this. Like I'm gonna start my shoelaces. Does everyone do this? I'm assuming. Unless you do the bunny ears, which I don't do. Now, this is going to leave a little bit of bulky thread, which is why it's important for the rest of the steps to not leave any bulky thread. So, tie it tight, and then I snip. You could probably use like fray check or something. Is that a thing with buttons? I don't know. Never done it. So you're gonna get like a little nub that sticks up there. I usually just squish it down. Never had an issue with it. Watch me have an issue now. It snaps. It's in there. Good. She unsnaps. And then see, it kind of just disappears after that anyway. So, it takes a couple of times to get it fully inserted. I think it just like kind of mashes all that crap out of the way, right? So, there you have it. Ta-da!